Welcome back everyone to Let's Play GearCity episode number 4 in our Let's Play series on this. Today I don't really know what we're going to end up doing. We're going to try to look into why our sales of the new vehicle are a little bit lower. The only thing I can find is that the model quality is lower. The thing is, I don't think that that's supposed to matter for the Phaeton. I even did a little bit of digging off camera into the two vehicles. You can see them lined up side by side here. The TT, obviously the superior of the two. Not really, right? Because the overall and specific is 32 and 41. The image is actually lower of the EZ and it's higher for this one. These are three important metrics. This is how those metrics are decided. And I'm pretty sure if we just pretend to do a vehicle, I don't really care what this ends up being. Let's get to the Phaeton. Grab anything, and then I just want to see this right here. That's not true. I want to see these things right here. Yeah, so quality is supposed to be, well, I guess it is kind of important. So it might be that this is where I'm losing it. I just don't understand because the specific rating for them is identical. So we might need to charge a little bit less from this vehicle, which means maybe it's worthwhile for us to produce a little bit of both and sell them at slightly different prices. The problem is that there is this overlap, right? If we look at the sales price distribution, the potential customers for our 30,050 are going to be in this area, and there's a high overlap with the area of 3050 and the area of 3100, as you might imagine. So unfortunately, we'll be competing against ourselves if we produce both. I don't know if I kind of expect that maybe the absolute maximum min-max perfect thing is if you knew an exact distribution of maybe 80 of these cars and 5 of these or something like that. The thing is, to keep things simple, I think what we want to do is we want to move forward with the new brand. I don't know why she's not selling, and I actually didn't even realize this, but there is a cost for storage of the vehicles. So 25 of these goes into reserve, and I think that you'll end up paying storage costs for that. We'll see in the next month because they weren't stored last month, but they'll need to be stored for the month until they're sold. I mean, maybe you get a freebie month, I don't know. So what we're going to try to do is get this thing back to being a selling product. Marketing, do we want to involve some marketing perhaps? Because I haven't done any marketing apparently. Yeah, why don't we start to market things? And they're going to tell us that that's what they want to spend, and I'm going to say that's absurd. I will give you 3,000. And as far as Philadelphia goes, you will get 1,000. Good luck. Per capita. Wow, that's very low marketing expenditure per capita. Anyway, let's see if that makes any difference. That's a total of 4,000 a month we're spending, but it's spending it on marketing, so it's in theory that's supposed to make that money back. I don't really think we need the marketing because we're not really competing with people, but maybe we need people to start believing in our new car. As far as factory goes, I want to trim this down a little bit, maybe get the image up a little bit. We'll just do 71 for now. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, storage was 541. It's not that bad. But there's definitely an issue here. We didn't sell the last one. Let's put that one on the market, by the way, for whatever it is. 3,100. Oh, well, it's only one. I guess we can go for broke. Sell the last one. This is the last easy in the world, guys. You got to go for it. Although, really quickly, I think we might bring back the Easy since it's working where the TT is simply not. The thing I really would love to have seen is the Easy sell like hotcakes since it's, the TT, since it's $850 versus $780, we are saving $70. Okay, because we're saving $70, why don't we bring this down to 3,000 and see if that is maybe the price point that makes everything better. In which case we should really be selling them for higher, producing more of them, but let's just see what happens. So we're adjusting a couple things all at the same time. Let me also make sure I keep an eye on the contracts here. Look at this. We can submit this thing, which is due in just a couple of months. We would love to win this because we would make buku bucks off of it. Submit that offer. And it looks like the US Navy, we've already submitted our designs. They're not going to be coming up for a while. This is 2 months after the previous one, and this one's a year and 2 months past the other one. Now, I'm just going to keep on looking over here at the vehicles just to see what kind of nonsense the military's up to. I am thinking probably not to build a racing vehicle, although we could. I'm probably thinking that we'll build a pickup design which hopefully satisfies any of these contracts. But it's a serious contender for a real pickup truck. If we want to do this, I mean, if we want to really figure out what the best thing to do is right now, it would still be a sedan. And I just wasn't very happy with the sedans that we were going to be able to make. It would also cannibalize our Phaeton line. Maybe we just had a really, really good thing and we are looking, I mean, we just messed up significantly by trying to get the TT out. I'm still not exactly sure why the failure is. It looks to me to be the same quality. I mean, literally not the same quality, but, you know, more or less. What I could do is just run the Easy Line's name into the ground. Okay, okay, I think we're going to do it this way. We're going to go back to the Easy. We're going to produce the crap out of it. We're going to run this line into the ground, which means we need to sell it. It will not sell for that. We will sell it for $30.50. We'll continue to sell this one for $3,000. Did that make a difference, by the way? Did we sell it at $3,000 yet? I don't know if we did. But wait, regardless of whatever mistakes we may be making, whatever optimization misses we have, we're still making money. So the company is, you know, it's on the up and up. And we know that we're also I put a lot of money into the R&D research teams, probably more than I needed to or maybe even should have. That's still helping us get better designs, so in due time we'll have better designs we can make. Getting the 5-speed, it would be so nice. I might even up this. 7,000, should I go to 15,000? And interesting to me that why isn't 15,000, shouldn't that be 0.36? Huh, I guess engine research is simply more expensive. Well, I'm going to pour our hard-earned cash into this since I think that we could really benefit from some of these things. Swing axle, not so much. Maybe 10,000 for this. We're just going to increase all those costs. That's fine. Give me backbone. We need the time for that. Swing axle I don't really use, so we basically just need the skill points in order to be able to use the different, I don't know, I guess the backbone when it becomes available in a few more years. Oh, I just like feeding money into research in every game I play, so anyways, let's go back to the reports and just look at this one more time. Sports cars are actually more than pickup trucks. You don't say. Not like crazy popular. Again, the luxury sedan market, gosh, we could probably go for that. Very high end. But we're already reaching, so the problem I have with this idea is that we're already reaching the high end market with our Phaetons. We're already charging like way above the GDP per capita. So I don't think that we really should go with any other designs. I actually think that the Phaeton is perfect for us right now. And if we want to do something goofy, we really should be just looking at doing something with a contract. No aircraft engines in 1903? What? That's just silly. Yeah, I mean, if we could actually design a pickup truck which satisfied all of the military contracts, is there? I mean, we could probably do. No, we can't. Fuels, water, and electric. So we'd have to choose a steam engine one. Seems absurd. This is going to be a pretty powerful engine too. Electric one. It's doing, I mean, we have time to build it. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. We do not have time to build it. We would have a hard time meeting any of these, actually. This is the only one we might be able to meet, because that's a year, that's 14 months away, which means we actually have the contract in 13 months. And normally to make a vehicle, like our first vehicle took like 15 months, something like that. We could probably get the engine in 6, I mean the engine and the other stuff in like 6 or 7, but then the vehicle itself usually takes like 8. So yeah, we're looking at 14. We'll have to pump a lot of money in order to get these things ready for the contract in time. No, no, no. Let's just continue to tweak our, tweak our profits. Okay. So we sold all 29 of these, and we did not sell the Phaetons. We just need to lower the price a little bit and continue to pump them out. Wow, they are already pretty low. Another thing we could do is just open up another branch. Somebody's going to want those. I mean, we're selling them for so much money. Take a look at this. So 29 of these really is 29 of sales which would go to the EZ. I'm pretty sure. We missed only 9 sales. Oh, wait, we missed 9 sales at 3,000? Huh. Despite the EZ being mass produced? Okay, this thing's, hey, it's profitable. So anyway, well, let's just really work on pumping out EZs and just making the most out of that money that we can. Let's go 1 month, kind of see what happens. Okay, we have a lot in reserve. Our storage costs are actually becoming meaningful. We missed 36 sales because we didn't sell any. Well, that's just because it's not really on the market right now. Okay, we could actually do this. That's a little goofy. Okay, we could do it. Let's put 5 lines on the EZ and 2 on the TT. Which, I'm just going to do this in order to get the quality of this vehicle up. Okay, so that's going to grow by 0.02 a month. That's fine. So we only have 2 production lines producing 12 of these. It's not going to be, it's meant to be a very elite, even though its quality is arguably not even better. Just pump it up to, let's say, 3150. And then let's leave the EZ a little bit lower. Alright, we missed 18 sales on the TT, and we have a lot still in reserve for the EZ, which means we have to reduce the price of the EZ or produce less of them. Okay, let's do that. Let's assign 4, and let's bump this up to 18. Okay, now let's just, since we missed sales on one and we overproduced on the other, we'll just adjust the lines accordingly. Alright, we finally had more sales than we produced. We still have a big reserve. And we still missed some sales. Okay. Well, I think we can go ahead and do the same thing yet again. Invert the lines. And maybe charge a little bit more money. Well, let's try doing this first. Okay. Our reserves are going down. We only missed 8 sales. Okay, good. I think we're starting to get there. Let's see what... We got another award. The TT is the best Phaeton in the entire world again. I guess they like the TT more than like the EZ. I don't know. It's not the... Okay, the EZ is not... I think it's 3 years or is it 5 years when vehicles start to degrade with their image or their quality based on how long it's been since they've come into existence. Okay, we have the swing axle now. New layout called the W. There's new gears called the 6. These are not terribly descriptive, not very well descriptive names, I have to say. Anyway, yeah, so I think we can actually... Well, let's leave it as is for now. The weird thing is, I want to produce more of these TTs. These are cheaper. It's inverted right now. As a reminder, the EZ costs $830 to make, and this one costs $765, so it's much cheaper. Why is it then that we are selling the EZ? We don't want to make these EZs. Well, we can make them really cheap though. So I think we can raise the price, apply, and I think we can increase the number that we're building of this one. So this one's maxed, so if we sell those, we're making good money. Let's go up to 34 of these, which is going to decrease the model increase from 0.02 to 0.01, but that's okay. We only missed 8 sales, so I'm not sure this is going to work. Find out. Yeah, we got 4 in reserve now. But that's okay. It's good. So this is going down. We need to decrease the price of this one. And this is so funny. We need to increase the price of this one. We ended up back to square one. Both of them selling at the same price point. Yeah, I don't think we need to sell them at the same price point. We need to keep them spread out as possible. This just doesn't work. Luckily, we're still making money even when we do things wrong. That was not the right move. Okay. So we want to keep this one as quality. Let me move it down to 3. The EZ goes up to 4. And then we just drop the EZ down in price again. Go to 3,000. And you can stay at 3,100. Maybe even we bump you up again. But let's just end the turn and see what happens. Yeah, this is better. We missed a few sales, so we can go ahead and sell the TT for a little bit higher. We're kind of intentionally, artificially making the TT, you know, the quality product. It's not really true, but anyway. It's making a profit. Hey, they're both making good money. I mean, we did something right. Profit was 46,000. Now that was, I think, with taxes of 110. This was 156 total. And it's 135. I'm not exactly sure. Huh. Don't quite figure that one out. By the way, our contract's coming and going yet? Oh, let me look at the notes first. Contract denied. Okay, I thought there was a contract or two. This one went to an outside contractor. This one went to an outside contractor. Well, there are new contracts that we can look at. Wait, is that true? Have I looked at it since 120903? Let's just take a look. Anybody who can use my yes, indeed. So this will be ready. Well, yeah, we'll just go for it. This is obviously would be very helpful if they wanted to use that. Oh man, we got lots of people who might use our engine. Just submit to all of them. Eventually somebody's gonna pick us. Well, I don't know if that's true, but hopefully. They're all fixed price, thank goodness, because that's the only way I want to deal with things from here on in. Alright, let's just end the turn a few more times, and then I need to commit to designing a new thing. It's just hard to get away from the Phaeton. It's supposed to be this super cheap vehicle, and it is. We're just... Oh, wait a second. Easy is getting us 76. You're getting us 25. We're losing the reserves on that one, and we're missing a few sales. Let's see what happens. Reserves is dropping for the EZ. Can we, I think we might be able to increase the price just a little bit on the EZ. Let's take it up to 3030. This one can also be increased. I guess we'll just try to go this directly to 3200, see what happens. We still missed 6 sales from that one. And yep, did well there. So we still sold more than we produced. And the money is a loss because of the taxes, but that can't be all. Okay, 131. Let's just look at that. 340. Huh. So you're saying my revenue was less this time? 33 versus 345. Why would that be? There was 89 sales here. 82. Okay, actually this makes sense. We are currently selling more than we produce. That's not sustainable. Obviously at some point the reserves are going to dry up. So it shows you that selling, I think we increased the price, right? From 3,000 to 3030. That did in fact narrow the gap between sales and production, but you can see you sell less and the total revenue is obviously less because of that. And probably I would actually say that almost surely the profit went down as well. Well, how would I say this? I'm guessing, this is not necessarily true, but my guess is we sold 82 cars at 3030. I guess we can do the math. So 82 times 3030 is 248,460. What is it the month before selling? Oh, if you all tab out, it does take a while for this to come back. There. Yeah, and then otherwise we would sell 89 at 3,000, and that is 267. Yeah, this is very clear. It's very clear. It's better to sell more vehicles for less money than to sell more vehicles for, less vehicles for more money. So that's all that's illustrating to us is, the quantity is better. Okay, well, that's that then. Give me a positive cash flow number so I can end my turn on that. There we go, 140, that's what I like to see. Yes, but we're still making money. We're at 3 million now. I had proposed at some point opening a new factory. I think Chicago was the place I wanted to target. I still want to do that. We have 3 million we can put into this. About 7 production lines. Okay, it's 400,000 per production line, at least at this quality. And it looks like it's basically a fixed multiplier technology. There's no little min-max games we can play. Why is the government not subsidizing us? Those jerks. $2.9, that would be pretty hard to justify. I think we want to do it though. Yeah, there's a lot of markets we can reach with this. I'm building it. We're just doing it. It's going to take quite a long time for this to come up, but we're sinking all our money into that. Now, it doesn't actually spend the cash. It's taken out monthly. But in 22 months, we'll have our Chicago factory up and running. And then we'll open branches over there. I think it's probably better for us to open branches even right now. We're not selling quite as many cars, and I think the number of cars we could sell... Well, we're not producing that many cars, so is it worth it? Like, opening a new branch means we can continue to sell these for even more, but then I hope you gotta hope that the extra amount you're selling all the cars for is more than the amount you lose to the extra branch, which is probably around 10,000. See, do they say that branch costs? They say it over here. This branch costs okay, so facilities cost is 1,800. And this one is 15,000. Oh, we got 12 dealerships here versus how many in New York? Oops. 8. Why is the facilities cost so much cheaper? This is another thing I'm really gonna have to look into this and figure it out. I don't have time. I don't think it's good form to try to figure it out on the camera, you know, with the camera shining in my face. But we'll leave things the way they are. I think that we're doing okay. We're making money. Wow, so many 6. It's quite a good. We missed a lot of sales. And our cash flow is actually positive despite the construction. That hardly makes sense, but that's amazing. So we can increase prices of this one. Hard to believe we can go up to 3250. Hard to believe it, but it's true. And now... surely this is the construction that was their last turn. The two things I see is there was taxes this time and our revenue went down. 96.25. Yeah, 84.25. Okay. We actually missed 6 sales. We have no more reserves. Okay, so that means that this easy can start increasing its price. Now, are they going to start cannibalizing each other? I imagine so. Yeah, look at that. Just it happened so quickly. So back down you go. I wonder if 30, 40? I mean, I don't know where the breakpoint is. And can we increase that one? Let me not do it until I check first that we are missing out. We're missing sales. Okay, so let's increase the price of this one as well. And right now, I mean, the reason why we're keeping it low... Okay, yeah. I think what we want to do is... we want to swap the lines again. No, not this way. The other way. Sign, and then... because we can't keep them so close. We basically have 2 trims. This is basically... I mean, that is literally what it is. Although they're different vehicles, they're actually different designs. We're essentially treating our TT as like an elite trim and our EZ as like the cheap one. So we'll mass produce this one. Gives us 96. Well, obviously we need to cut the cost, but that cutting of the cost is good because that keeps our vehicles a little bit further apart, which is what I want. So I don't know if 3,000 will be too high. Let's see if that works. But they will be nicely separated. Actually, yeah, it worked perfectly, and we can actually increase the TT's price even more, which is Bonkers. I think we're okay here. We had more sales than production, but we have some reserves that we're still working at. Oops, nope. End the turn. Just having fun basically simulating this. And all the while, the good news is our research is increasing. So we had negative tax. I still don't understand this, but whatever. It means we have a bigger income, so I'm not going to complain. Yeah, these are dropping. TT can go up even more in price. It just never ends. 3,400. When will we stop selling this? Where's the ceiling? Not there yet. Keep raising her. 3,450. These people will pay anything for my quality car. Yeah, you know we're limiting supply, so we get a charge. Let's also take a look at the... I'm still waiting for something to jump out at me at what to do next. Phaeton's not doing bad. Sedan and luxury sedan are both down for the moment. Another idea is we could try to move out to like Europe. That's, I mean, instead of putting one in Europe or Chicago, we could have put one in Europe somewhere. But I don't know. One sec. Well, I had to cut away and I lost my train of thought, but that may be a good thing because I think at this point I've resigned myself. Well, we have this factory coming up in 16 months, and what I think would be a great idea is to coincide that with the arrival on the market of a new vehicle. Not that I want to put all the Chicago lines to work on the new vehicle, but it'll be a time when we probably can sell a lot of the Phaeton still. But maybe we can also sell something else. Because, I mean, we might oversaturate the Phaeton market. In theory, we should be saturating it eventually. Well, not really, because we can just build more markets and all that. But, okay. So really, for real this time, what would we consider doing? I think touring cars will eventually go away. Let's just go over to the new vehicle designs and just take a look at what we have here. Okay, so we have the full-size sedan is actually one you can use for like mail delivery and stuff. You will see those civilian contracts coming out eventually. Luxury sedan, we know that this is an option. More popular in Europe than it is here, which maybe that's our entry point into Europe then. Well, the Phaeton is also very popular there. We could always do that. The pickup truck just not popular anywhere yet. I missed one. The Touring. Okay. This is popular mostly in North America. How does this stack up? It's handling. I am actually very good at getting cars that have high handling. We'll have to make a new engine for the power and performance. Luxury is not necessarily my strong suit. I'd like to compare this against the luxury sedan, or even just the sedan, because that'll be easier to do. Yeah, this Touring is actually more luxurious than the sedan. Less of a requirement on fuel and safety, more on power. I have to say the Touring kind of makes sense. Although the sedan is more popular. I just feel like we're already hitting the highest demographics. I keep running into the same problem when I ask myself what to do. If we're selling the Phaeton for $3,000 and the per capita... Can I check the per capita? I mean, if the per capita is 400, in general, you don't really want to exceed 5 times that for a vehicle you want to sell a lot of. But we are much more than 5 times over that. We are 8 times over it. We're basically 8 times over it. It's pretty insane. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe our play is just to open up more branches, increase production, do stuff like this. It's nice to see that our cash flow is not really depleting, despite the fact that we're building this very expensive thing. But no, I guess I am committed, despite the fact that my gut tells me this is not necessarily a good idea. We're going to go ahead and build, let's just go with the luxury sedan. No, let's go with the sedan. It'll be more popular. Eventually the Phaeton will transition to the sedan, and we can just say that this is an upfront cost to make sure that our foot is in the door for sedans. I don't think we'll build it using the previous parts. We already have seen that we could do that. I mean, we have seen we can do that, but I think that the reason we don't want to do that is... I'll just grab anything for now. The power and... well, the power mainly is not going to be very good. Power is a 3-star. This has a 3.5 on safety, fuel, and then it has 3 stars on power and performance and luxury. Luxury we can get with the sliders, but power and performance we need a new engine for. So like what I would like to do basically is use the engine we have here. Sorry, view engine. We have this like super duper V8 engine, which is just 950. I guess we can't use it. It's 284 by comparison to use our i3. Okay, I guess we're just gonna have to design a new sedan from scratch. Fine, we'll do it. Now, the previous one was a carriage frame. We can use a ladder frame on this, which is gonna help with performance, safety, strength. The only thing that's bad about it is the weight. Unfortunately, the weight is gonna hurt our fuel, but okay. Anyways, the cost here is gonna be very important. We could do FF. What did we do for the previous one? I want to view, yeah, chassis. Yeah, this was an FR, so we could do an FF for this chassis. Okay, this is cool. Now we're starting to deviate enough that I'm really interested in doing this. Why is it that they recommend the FF for sedans, despite the fact that the performance and handling is worse? But the weight is really good, so that could help compensate for the ladder. I'm going to go with it based on their recommendation. Poor handling characteristics, though. Seems a little bit strange to go for it. Anyway, I know that we have new options here, but I think we're probably still going to go with the leaf spring. The durability is so good. The only other contender, but I think the price of this thing is just, oh, it's pretty cheap. The durability isn't great, but I think sedans don't care that much about durability. Okay, you know what? I'll go with, since none of these say they're recommended for anything, we'll go with the swing axle here. And maybe the leaf spring in the rear, because we don't really care about handling in the rear. I mean, yeah, I think that we need better handling on the front axle, but the rear axle is not under power and it's not under weight. So it's kind of a nothing thing. I think a leaf spring is fine for it. I don't know how well that's modeled, you know, where the weight distribution is versus the suspension, but at least using my tiny engineering brain, that seems to make sense to me. Now, I went the wrong way about this, as I sometimes do. I started to pick out things that I would want from the chassis before I designed the engine, but that doesn't really make sense. Let's go to the engine first. So we want to make this... We have already some experience with the eyes, the straights. So I'm wondering if maybe we go back to that. Or if we instead switch over to like a flat to kind of like branch out or maybe get more experience. I kind of like the idea of that. But let's just kind of look at comparison between I and flat. Flat is 760, 863, 24, 130. So much smaller, but also much less powerful. Well, no, that's not true. There we go. Let's just compare a flat and an I 2-cylinder. Yeah, the I is worse. The flat is better, but also bigger. fuel economy, it goes to the I by a huge amount. Might be because the power is a little bit less. Let's throw the V into the equation. The V is lower power, much better fuel, even smaller. I don't know, I kind of like the idea of putting a V out there, but we have one V technically. We just don't have a flat, so I think that... Was fuel a big important thing for this? I think it was. Okay, that leads me back to the V. I think we're gonna go with the V. Let's go with 4-cylinder, a V4. We want to balance. Yeah, so this is where we want it. Okay, I think this is fine. Again, fuel economy is important. Alright, I don't know if we care about that. Revolutions, let's increase this. And then let's greatly increase fuel economy. I think that's the most important one. I don't know why we'd reduce torque. 100,000, 550 per. Okay, F head, we might want to do a different one. Nope, F head is the best. Alright, material quality, we'll increase this. That is super expensive and I don't even see it doing anything. Okay, we will cut that, despite what I normally do. I only see it, doesn't really seem to have a big impact. Okay, well, it's a pretty cheap project now. Fuel economy I want to increase by a lot again. Power 17. Can't get it beyond 17, even though I cranked it up from 22 to... Well, we'll leave it there. It does give me fuel economy every tip. Every tick, tick, tick. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Rather have it there. Dependability, yeah, let's have some dependability here. Okay. Design pace, we'll do that last. I mean, this seems like a pretty good engine. The only thing left for us to decide is where we want the weight of this thing. There is a whole game you can play with this as well. So we can do, like, dropping the length a little bit. 138. Goes down to 137. Increasing goes nowhere, so that's, you know, well, it didn't change anything. Okay, now it's starting to increase it. 139. But if we increase the length but then reduce the weight, or we increase the weight and then reduce the length, sometimes this is helpful. Like, I want to increase the length. Does that lower the cost? Yeah, it did lower the cost significantly. Okay, 148, that's a big jump in weight. Yeah, let's leave it at 145. And then let's reduce a little bit. Actually, I don't think the weight is so bad. Weight does translate to worse fuel economy, of course. And then width, I think we're fine with that. Yeah, let's leave it right there. I think that's fine. Next thing is development pace. Okay, so this is going to set the pace for everything else. I think 7 months would be nice. We are not going to do 7 months. We're going to do 8 months for all of these things. So right on the money, right to begin with. I'm not going to worry about this, but I think that will be okay for a sedan. Performance, it says, is going to be bad, and fuel and power. Wow, it does not like what I've done here. Yikes! What did we do wrong? Where did we go wrong? Maybe these points? I'll raise this a little bit. Reliability goes up to 54. I mean, the price of this just skyrockets, though. I'll go up this much. So maybe we're just stuck with a really poor performing. I mean, this is still way more powerful than the other one. Fuel rate seems okay to me. I think this is a better engine. I'm not going to talk myself out of, like, let's not go crazy, right? Let's just believe in it. I'm going to believe in this one. It's not too big, which means the chassis can be pretty small too. Okay, so this will be the V4. What do we want to model? Okay, 23 HP, 25 MPG, which will be eventually different, but okay, good. Now let's go to the chassis. Wow, we're really over on time already. Jeez. Front, swing, leaf. But that's okay. We'll try to get out. I'll just try to do this real quick. So we need to make this as short as we can for the engine by selecting the engine first, of course. Okay, fits. 1. Okay, there's that. We'll go 2 wider. We'll probably take these down. Okay, that's good. Probably that's all fine. Stability, this is what? Stability. I do care about performance. Comfort's dropping and performance is going up, but we don't want comfort to drop because luxury is important too. So I think what I'll do is I'll drop it a little bit because I prefer that trade-off. Ride comfort goes down. I don't see any benefit to this one, so we could probably try to get comfort back here. Yeah, well that has a pretty big impact on the vehicle. So we'll leave it there. Performance is important. How are we looking on price? 207, okay. Braking. This one affects comfort and performance, so I think it's a pretty good one to do. Durability, I don't think people are that concerned with durability, so we're going to cut this back a little bit. Although it's not having like any impact on the total price. Oh, now it is. We'll leave it there. Okay, we want design performance to be higher. Ride control to be... This one doesn't have a big impact, so we'll lower the... Whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. I think we'll just take this up to 46. And design strength. I don't know what the strength has to... I don't know if that's a super important one. Again, it doesn't have much of an impact on the price. Dependability, do you have an impact on price? Not really. All these things don't, they seem to be having a more or less negligible effect. Development pace, well we know what we're going to want eventually, but for now let's take a look at their stuff. So quality going up does not impact things too much, hugely impacts the price. But I'm okay with that. It's such an impact. Okay, we'll take it down a little bit. Technology, decrease. It's fine. And then manufacturing techniques, we'll drop this as well. Okay, good. So let's do development pace. What are we looking at? 7 months, we can slow this down. Okay, good. So there we go. We have our new sedan chassis, which is going to be... this is the ladder FF. What's the last thing I did? Oh, it's going to be the swing, right? Yeah, swing. Ladder FF swing. I should have done the letter there like A, but who knows? Maybe we won't design another one of those. Last, we need the gearbox. But we're way over on time. Okay, fine. This will be a longer episode. I'll probably just have to spread it out a little bit. At least 3 gears, but we can figure this all out a little bit more as we are building it, because you can always change it here. So does this make a difference? Reliability goes up, performance goes down. Oh, reliability goes down, performance goes up. It's the other way. And it becomes lighter, and the price goes up by like 20%, which is pretty significant. Anyway, let's see. What are we designing for? We are designing for this one, which has a torque of 85, which means that we're not going to have to worry about it. In fact, wait a second. Does our old gearbox work with this? We have this 122. It does. It looks fine to me. I think we're going to go with it. We're going to reuse the redesigned one. Whoops, didn't want to go all the way here. So yeah, it turns out I don't have to wait that long for this thing anyway. I think we're all set. Let's see if it works, of course, but if we can reuse that, that's one less part we have to do. I'm silly, of course. We need to wait 8 months. But I think we're going to try to use the old gearbox. Now, I'm not going to progress time here. We'll call the video to a close. So when we come back, we know what we want to do. We want to build this sedan, and we'll be using the old gearbox, but 2 new parts, and we'll see if it's luxurious enough for the people. For now, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.